It does remind me, though, of an argument that you and I have had, like, should you try to kind of give your kids the Bible in a more accessible form?
Right.
And you came down hard on the no side.
I come down hard on the no. I also, though, don't know that you want your kids reading every story in the Old Testament. You know, and I think that's kind of a historically justified point of view that I think a lot of the saints were like, you know, this should be read as you get older, you know, or more spiritually mature, not from the outset. I've actually know someone who was in a crisis in life and started reading the Bible from page 1, which I think is a terrible idea.
Yeah.
I do think page 1 may be the most important page of the Bible, but it's just you're not going to find the answer to life going in cold on page 1. Yeah. And like by the time, I think the person might have been struggling with fertility or something. And by the time the person got to the story of Abraham and Sarah and their struggle with fertility, the person was like throwing the book out the window. Like, what the heck am I supposed to do? Get him a concubine, you know? Yeah. And it's like, it's not necessarily a faith-giving book.
Yeah.
You know, I think giving away New Testaments is the answer to that.
Yeah.
I think reading just a short gospel like Mark is the way to introduce people to the Bible. Yeah. And it's a dangerous book. I mean, it's a book that can have you leave everything. Yeah. So I like it. I mean, I'm not trying to get the danger out of it, but it's much more speaking to people where they're at.
Yeah. Yeah. I kind of think of the Old Testament as like a book about the human condition, you know?
Right.
And yeah, generally try to shield our kids from that in other ways. Right. But yeah.
Right. You know, what was interesting observation at our book club recently is we were reading St. Thomas More's Utopia, and a lot of what he's talking about is just not that radical. Yeah. But if you think about it in historical context of having nobles, and how flat that society was, and there wasn't much of a nobility, it's like very radical for that time. Yeah. Right? And then the comparisons made to Jesus's words. Jesus's words were incredibly radical in the year, 30, and they're incredibly radical right now. Yeah. You know, it's like there's nothing where you have to like go put yourself in that age to figure out why they were revolutionary words. Yeah. Like, they are revolutionary in every age, which is interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting. Yeah.